Alright, so in today's video I'll be talking about making compensation, so claiming compensation under the Windrush scheme. So in my previous video I did talk about how you can make a claim under the Windrush scheme to prove your right to live and work in UK. So if you've not seen that video, go and watch that video. But just to recap, in that video I talked about that you may be able to prove your right to live and work in UK if you arrived in UK before 1st of January 1973 and you're from a Commonwealth country, or you arrived in UK before 31st of December 1988 and you're of any other nationality. I did also mention that in terms of what you'll be entitled to will depend on a number of things. The first one is whether you have lived in UK continuously since arrival, or you left UK for more than 2 years at some point and you're now living in UK lawfully, or you're outside UK. I also went on to say that if you've left UK and you're at some point for more than 2 years and you're now living in UK, that you may be eligible for indefinite leave to remain, and in some cases eligible for British citizen. If you, however, lost your ILR because you're now living outside UK, you may be eligible for returning resident visa or the 10 years multiple entry visa. I also talked about application process, that how you can apply. You can either apply both inside and outside UK, and also mentioned that the actual application is free of charge. Now in today's video I'll be talking about the compensation scheme. So basically, if you were able to prove your right to live and work in UK, you may also be able to apply or be eligible to apply for compensation, and particularly if you've suffered loss. So you may be able to claim for losses for things like if you couldn't find a place to live, like housing. So at some point you were homeless because you couldn't prove your right to live and work in UK, or you couldn't work at some point, or you couldn't access things like healthcare services or banking, driving license, or even some immigration action like detention or deportation. So you may be able to claim for that. Now, in terms of who is actually eligible to make this claim, you will be eligible to make this claim if you yourself, your parents or grandparents arrived in UK by the date I already mentioned. So basically you were in UK before 1973 or before 1989, and you're from either Commonwealth country, or you arrived in UK by that 1989, before 1989, and you're any other nationality. In a few minutes I'm just going to quickly go through which countries are Commonwealth countries. So basically you may be able to claim. Also, this claim is not just restricted to the primary claimant. You may also be able to claim if you're a close family member of and you've suffered loss because your family member, say like a father, mom, sister, partner, you're a child of the primary carer and you've suffered loss because the primary claimant, rather not carer, could not prove their right to live and work in UK. So you may be able to make that claim, to claim compensation. So what can you actually claim for? So you can claim for quite a number of them. I think I did mention some of them. So this will be in terms of employment. So if you were not able to work and you suffered loss as a result, housing, you couldn't find a place to live, and of course you suffered loss, or you were homeless at some point, you couldn't access healthcare services. So this loss is not only restricted to the primary claimant. If their loved ones, like a close family member, suffered loss as a result, missing major events, so you couldn't travel or go on a trip because of course you couldn't prove your right to stay. So the list goes on. Also things like living costs, like for example rent, paying utility bills, not being able to contribute to food, or meeting up with essential living costs. So you can maybe able to claim for that. So like I mentioned earlier, in terms of who can claim, so the primary claimant will be if you're claiming for yourself, if you suffered loss because you arrived at those dates, but because you couldn't prove your right to live and work in UK, you suffered loss, you didn't have access to all those things that I've mentioned: employment, banking, not being able to open bank account, health services, immigration detention, immigration fees, the list goes on. So if you suffered loss or daily living expenses like household expenses, food, you couldn't be able to meet up with those because of difficulties in proving your right to live and work in UK, then you may be able to claim compensation under the Windrush scheme. Do remember that in terms of making claim, in terms of who can claim, you can claim it yourself. Also, your close family member can be able to make a claim. So, close family member who have suffered loss as a result of the person that was eligible to make under the claim couldn't make a claim. Therefore, you may be able to make this claim. And also, if you're a representative of an estate or someone who has died and they would have been eligible and loss was suffered as a result, you may also be able to make the claim under the Windrush scheme. So, in terms of how do you actually make the claim, you can either make this claim by post or email. So basically, the Windrush team will send you a form to fill in. So in terms of which forms to complete, rather, if you're making a claim for yourself, then you will need to complete the primary claimant form. So it will be marked primary claimant Windrush compensation form. You fill that in. If you're claiming as a close family member, likewise, fill in the relevant form. If you're also applying as a representative of an estate of someone who has died who would have been eligible, you fill in the right form. You must actually show evidence that you've actually suffered loss. So once you've completed the form, send it off. The Windrush support scheme or the Windrush team will get in touch with you if you're successful. And if you're successful, they would require you to accept any offer they make you in writing. So the acceptance must be in writing. And once that is done, you receive your payment. So if you're outside UK, they will pay it into your nominated account. Likewise, if you're in UK. So basically, if your application is not successful, then you do have a right in terms of to ask for a review. Now, I did say that I'm going to go quickly through the Windrush in terms of countries that are regarded as Commonwealth countries. So I'm just going to look away from the camera quickly to go through the Commonwealth countries. So if you're from the following countries, there's quite a lot of them, and this list you'll find it on gov.uk website, so you can go through them as well. So in terms of the countries that fall under the Commonwealth countries, they include the Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Australia, the Bahamas, Bangladesh, Barbados, Belize, Bermuda, Botswana, Brunei, Canada, Cayman Islands, Cyprus, Dominica, Falkland Islands, the Gambia, Ghana, Gibraltar, Grenada, Guyana, Hong Kong, India, Jamaica, Kenya, Kiribati, Lesotho, Malawi, Malaysia, Maldives, Malta, Mauritius, Montserrat, Namibia, Nauru, New Zealand, Nigeria, Pakistan, Papua New Guinea, St. Lucia, Samoa, Seychelles, Sierra Leone, Singapore, Solomon Island, South Africa, Sri Lanka, St. Kitts and Nevis, Swaziland, Tanzania, Tonga. The list goes on. If you're outside UK and you're making a claim for the compensation, then you can contact the Windrush help team. You can contact them either by email and request a call back, or you can email them, request an email back. Do know that they charge for these services, so it's not free. So better you check the cost in advance before ringing or emailing them. If you're likely to need help with filling in the form, then the We Are group may be able to help you. For example, if you're not confident with filling in the form, or you do not have access to internet, then the We Are group will be able to help you. The information about We Are group and how to contact them is also on gov.uk website. I'll also leave the link on my bio. Now, just a disclaimer, the information on this video is just for information only. So this video is just for information only. It does in no way represent legal advice. So if you do need legal advice or you need immigration on this advice on this topic, I would strongly suggest that you do seek advice from an immigration practitioner. If you're unsure of anything that I've mentioned in this video and want more advice, then please do seek advice on this. If you like this kind of content and want to receive more of this content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Share this to other people so they will know about this compensation scheme. Thank you for stopping by. See you next time. Bye bye.